Dear Patriots, before the news starts, please subscribe to our patriotic channel by clicking the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up to this video. Don't forget to leave your opinion below in the comments section. Share the news on Facebook and Twitter so you friends see it. Thank you.
Boo NFL owners get biggest scare of lives day before Halloween's worst nightmare comes true. This is historic and terrifying. If you are an NFL owner or a television executive who paid the NFL billions in a TV deal. The NFL used to be a ratings juggernaut. Untouchable. Dominant. Worth every penny of the billions spent to broadcast the NFL games. Most people forget that Rupert Murdoch's strategy to promote Fox was to get the NFL rights. He got them when Fox was an upstart network, and the rest is history. So the NFL is important. It used to be that an average NFL game, sometimes even a local broadcast rerun of the home team, would beat Major League Baseball's crown jewel, the World Series, in the ratings. That a random NFL game could routinely beat the World Series in TV ratings shows you how dominant the NFL was. Was is the key word here. Because as an explosive new report from Breitbart shows, the NFL's party is officially over. As these numbers clearly show, the NFL's lock on TV ratings is gone. To be accurate, 2016 is the year the Chicago Cubs finally won a World Series, and that had a lot to do with those numbers, not all, but a lot. This year there is no such excuse. Thanks to Breitbart for these shocking numbers. The bottom is falling out, and the NFL owners are terrified, and they deserve it for letting the inmates run the asylum. Share if you agree. Bryan Cranston risks career, admits what Hollywood is doing to destroy Trump and hurt USA. Breaking Bad star Bryan Cranston just came clean about President Trump, and you just know the Hollywood liberals are seething with rage. They don't like people telling them what to do, and they really don't like people who support President Trump, and Cranston just did both. Most probably putting his career at risk, see Tim Allen, but he doesn't care and sent the left a brutal message. To anyone, and that means you Hollywood, who wants Trump to fail, he says, F you. Cranston is out promoting his new film, Last Flag Flying, and was asked about his earlier comments that he would leave the country if Trump won. He has a whole new take on it now and made a shocking admission in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. President Trump is not the person who I wanted to be in that office, and I've been very open about that. That being said, he is the president. If he fails, the country is in jeopardy. It would be egotistical for anyone to say, I hope he fails. To that person I would say, FCKU. Why would you want that? So you can be right? Correct. The arrogance of the left knows no bounds, and they would literally prefer to see the USA fail if it meant hurting President Trump. Such is their rage and hatred. Don't forget they used to love him when he was just a billionaire TV star. So the flip-flop is even more disgusting. Cranston continued. I don't want him to fail. I want him to succeed. I do. I honestly do, and if you've got a good idea that helps the country, oh man, I'm gonna support you. I don't care if you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat or whatever, I don't care. A good idea is a good idea. Let's do that. We've got to get away from this idea that our country is political football, and someone with a different opinion is the enemy. Share if you agree. Whoa. After years of Trump bashing, Ben Shapiro just said the unthinkable about collusion charges. Ben Shapiro is no fan of Donald Trump. At one point, he even called then-candidate Trump a smoking garbage heap of human debris, which makes his latest claim about the president's campaign even more shocking. According to Shapiro, Paul Manafort's charge of conspiracy against the United States shouldn't hurt Trump one bit. This is what he wrote in his piece on the Daily Wire. The charge of conspiracy against the United States isn't a treason charge, it's a financial charge based on defrauding the United States and covering it up through obstruction of justice. The media are going to have a tough time linking Manafort to Trump and Trump to Russia, thereby, at least from the charges in this indictment. There's literally nothing about collusion, there's literally nothing about Trump. Shapiro may not always love Trump, but he's a brilliant intellectual when it comes to law. He's usually pretty fair, and this time he's giving the win to Trump. Manafort may not be as lucky. While the rest of the media will try to spin these charges, which involve a case years before Trump's campaign began, as proof of collusion, the truth is clear. There is no proof of collusion in these developments. What do you think of Shapiro's comments? Tell us in the comments and share so the truth is revealed. Once and for all, there is no collusion. Mueller files first charges against active Trump campaign officials and it proves there was no collusion. The big news Monday morning is no doubt the charges Robert Mueller filed against Paul Manafort, but there is another piece of news that was released and it's huge. A second person has been charged by Mueller's counsel, and he's pleading guilty. The Hill reports. George Papadopoulos, the 30-year-old foreign policy advisor, pleaded guilty earlier this month, according to court filings unsealed on Monday. The DOJ unsealed the documents shortly after it announced charges against two other higher-ranking Trump campaign officials, Paul Manafort and Rick Gates. Prosecutors charged Papadopoulos with lying to investigators about his conversations with a foreign professor. WHO told him that Russians had thousands of emails containing dirt on Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton. So that certainly doesn't sound good, but it might actually point to something beneficial to Donald Trump. No one is being charged with actually meeting with the Russians. A low-level staffer was simply being told about an opportunity. The situation is similar to that of Donald Trump Jr., who wasn't charged with a crime. This guy just lied about those calls, but he eventually came to his senses and confessed. If that's all the special counsel can manage, it's good news for Trump, who maintained that there is no collusion in tweets following the revelation. Comment no collusion and share if you support Trump. Mueller's shown his hand and he's been bluffing all along. Trump shames CNN, reveals key thing about Manafort's charges media forgot to report. President Trump just broke his silence on the whole sordid Paul Manafort affair. And he exposed another false media narrative in the process. The media is in a feeding frenzy over Manafort's charges and those of his partner Rick Gates. The charges are serious. As Bob Mueller's statement makes clear. Paul G. Manafort Jr., 68, of Alexandria, Virginia, and Richard W. Gates III, 45, of Richmond, Virginia, have been indicted by a federal grand jury on October 27, 2017, in the District of Columbia. The indictment contains 12 counts: conspiracy against the United States, conspiracy to launder money, unregistered agent of a foreign principal, false and misleading FARA statements, false statements, and 7 counts of failure to file reports of foreign bank and financial accounts. One thing you need to know about these charges that the media will not report is that in the swamp political consultants make enormous sums of money working for foreign governments. Because once you win a presidential campaign, like James Carville did with Clinton, they made a movie about his exploits with Sandra Bullock. Every foreign candidate with money who has to run for election tends to hire our consultants. They all do, and there is nothing illegal about not paying taxes, and all that is a different matter. The second thing you need to know about these charges the media will not report, I will let President Trump tell you himself. And there you have it, no collusion, because if Mueller had it he would have charged it. Share this if you agree. Moments after Mueller announced arrests, Podesta did something criminal. In a true bipartisan fashion, Bob Mueller is going after one of Hillary's key allies in his widening corruption probe. This is good news because it seems Bob Mueller is focusing on money laundering and tax evasion from lobbyists and not Russian collusion. Lobbyists like Paul Manafort and Tony Podesta, two hired guns who work for both sides and never met a foreign payment they didn't grab immediately. There are no morals among the highly paid DC lobbyists, just know that. According to a bombshell report from Politico, Tony, who is under enormous pressure from Bob Mueller, just resigned from his job. Tony Podesta is the brother of Hillary's campaign chairman John Podesta. They both founded the lobbying powerhouse the Podesta Group, and got wealthy through their high-level connections. He did work for the same pro-Russian Ukrainian party that Manafort did, and it looks like neither high-powered DC lobbyist reported the money or disclosed their roles properly. One of the charges levied against Manafort is improper FARA disclosures, something Podesta already admitted doing. It looks like Bob Mueller is closing in, and with Manafort's charges Podesta clearly knows he is next, if not sooner. Podesta earned $1.2 million for the work, and he registered after the fact, a clear violation. According to the Politico, Podesta told staff he doesn't intend to go quietly, or learn how to play golf, and that he needs to fight this as an individual, but doesn't want the firm to fight it.